What's up guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about the stock market for this week. Before I do get into this video, and I say this in every video, so it's probably boring for the subscribers that have subscribed, but thank you so much if you have subscribed. But if you are new, hit that subscribe button. We do all sorts of videos around here. I do a weekly portfolio once a week, so if you want to stay up to date with that, then subscribe. Also, be much appreciated if you do give this a massive thumbs up, this video, because it shows me if you do enjoy these type of videos or not, as this is a different type of video that I'm doing, and I want to do this once a week. I want to do this every Monday if possible, before the stock market opens, or on a Monday after the stock market, whatever I can do, but make sure I upload on the Monday for the week ahead. And I want to just do these videos where we sit down about the stock market, where we think the stock market's going to go for this week and what's going to be happening, as I'll get into some chart analysis on TradingView, and also just some things I've picked up on Twitter maybe throughout the week that might be really helpful and useful, or just funny to listen to and watch. What we're going to do is we're going to get into the stock chart analysis of the Nasdaq and see what's happening with the stock market and where I think it's going to be going, and also thinking about what happened last week. And also I'm going to show you firstly some of these photos that I found on Twitter that is actually pretty interesting. So this is the first one that I want to talk about. So bearing in mind, we're going through a market cycle. We're going through a sector rotation where it's a lot of value / recovery stocks. A lot of money's going into them type of stocks, and they've been doing well, and they've been doing well, I think, since November, September time. So if you invested then, they would have given you some decent returns up to now. However, with tech stocks and growth stocks, if you invested in November, we've almost gone back to the start, if not worse. So yeah, if you've invested since then with growth stocks and tech stocks, you've been hit pretty bad. This is something that I thought I'd share you. So the first lot is optimism. And that's where I think, to be honest with you, a lot of us have been buying into, especially if you're new to the market. You'll be buying now because you would have been seeing some nice returns. You're like, let's get into it. Euphoria, where this is great, I should invest more. And then, yeah, you start buying more, obviously. And then it goes down. And you remember when everyone's saying, it's okay, I'm a long-term investor anyway. Then it gets to surrender. And people start saying, time to rebalance, consider buying when everyone is cautious. And then optimism, I'm not getting fooled again. But that's the thing, when there's surrender, when people are like, some people generally at this point in surrender say, I'm going to sell my stocks, I'm going to move on, I don't want to be part of the stock market. And I've got another photo later on that I'll share you, because that is very interesting. But that is pretty much where a lot of people are in the stock. If you're on tech stocks, we have been hit hard, like it is a thing. But if you've balanced your portfolio into recovery stocks and some value plays, your portfolio probably hasn't been that bad. But if you're mainly heavy in tech stocks and growth stocks, which I am, because that's the type of investor I am, we've been hit hard. I've been hit hard. So the next one is a bit more detailed, but a bit more funnier. Hopefully you can see it on the screen pretty decently. This was before the tech kind of correction, let's say, and people were saying, oh, I see a trend, I should watch this market. Then people were like, if I wait any longer, I will not be in profit from the trend, buy. Thankfully I didn't wait to buy. And then let's just skip down a bit. So when it starts dropping, you go, I will use this correction to increase my position, buy. And we all think that, and then it starts happening. I can't believe it, the price has now halved, this must be the absolute bottom. Okay, and then there's a bit, enough is enough, I should sell, I never look at stocks again, sell. Luckily I sold everything. And then it just goes back up pretty much. You can pause the photos and you can read them a bit more in detail if you want to, because it is very relatable sometimes. But that's the thing, when people are properly surrendering and they just want to sell out because they're like panicking with how bad it's been, that's a good time to buy. I'm starting to think, why not start buying a bit more now, quite a lot now. And when we do start seeing gains and people are excited and buying in, that's when you know maybe it isn't the best time to buy. And that's a lesson I've been learning, and that's where I might start at that point actually not really investing so much in the stock market then, when everyone else is buying. I want to be buying now. God knows if I'll go with that plan, but that is how I've been thinking recently, and just start saving up cash when we are getting to pretty high levels again, because there's always going to be that sector rotation, there's always going to be them corrections, and yeah, that's when you should be buying again. So this is probably what you've been coming for. Where do I think the stock market's going to be heading this week? Well, I think it could be pretty positive this week, but obviously who knows, depending on bonds. If bonds rise, then we are kind of screwed. But yeah, this is where I think the stock market's going to head. So this is very interesting now. We're on the 4-hour chart on the Nasdaq 100. And like I said, this is my prediction for this week. Where do I think we are going to be going this week? Well, I think we had some downside last week. Obviously, we got hit pretty hard. But we also did see a massive green day once last week, yet a lot of the stocks weren't doing well because Apple at one point just dragged it way up, the Nasdaq. And as you can see, we are pretty much breaking even. We're not really moving on the Nasdaq at the moment. This is the green trend line that I've drawn, and it does seem to actually make higher highs around here, as you can see. At first, I did think it was going to make a V-shaped recovery like that, roughly. I've just moved it roughly. But we ended up dropping more. We've also got that blue support line where I thought it would bounce off. It seemed to have done. Obviously, it broke through a few times, but it ended up bouncing right back up at that support line. So that does seem like a decent support line. But I think we're going to start trading upwards on the green line. So I've just put a blue line there. If we can get above that blue line, that is new support. At the moment, it's resistance, but that'll be new support. And that'll be a very good range to sit above. So I've just put that in there, as you can see. When we're looking very short term, like the 45 minutes, it does look like we could start bouncing back down a bit because we are starting to get a bit over. We're starting to head to the overbought section, which is a bit which is a bit annoying, not worrying, I'd say, because that's what happens. So we could end up, I'm just going to end up drawing what I think's going to happen. We'll go back to the 4 hours because I've just had a look at a few recent time frames. So let's just go with what I think. So we could end up doing this. That's quite a long time frame, so that's not a week, but this is kind of the direction I'm starting to think we're going to head in. And you've got to remember, March isn't a very good month anyway, historically, if you look back at March times. But I do think we could end up trading sideways a little bit, going down because of the short-term time frames, but overall, on the long-term time frame, on the 4 hour / 1 day, yeah, the 1 day is not actually too bad. There's room to the upside and also on the RSI. So that's my prediction for this week. Overall, I think we are going to start seeing some upwards movement with this trend line. I don't think we're going to start seeing lower lows. So that's my predictions. I could be completely wrong, remember, but yeah, fingers crossed everything goes well with the stock market this week. But just looking at the technicals, that's just what I think is going to be happening. So yeah, that is probably a bit of a quick analysis for you guys, and it's not very in-depth. Like, some people will do a lot more in-depth analysis, but they're just basic analysis things that I look at when I'm looking at stocks and the Nasdaq. But at the moment, it doesn't seem too bad. If you look at the Nasdaq overall, we're not dropping significantly. I think we're going to start seeing a bit more sideways movement, I'm afraid. We could start seeing some positive movement with stocks, but I wouldn't be surprised if it stays stagnant. The thing I would be surprised is if we do drop dramatically. The only reason, such as Palantir, if that drops to $20 a share, I would be a bit surprised, only because I think it's such a bargain right now, and the fact that I think we're kind of over this rotation. I think we're going to start slowly getting into tech stocks and growth stocks again, because April's normally a good month too. But like I said, it depends on bonds. It really just does. But that's my thoughts on this video. Hopefully you did enjoy this type of video, and also give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and let's hope the stock market's good. It'll only do that if you give me 100 likes, so I'm joking.